Okay, so the number one most important exercise that everybody must do is the deadlift, but there's some caveats with that. Before I get into those, I'll explain why I've chosen deadlifts. So what is a deadlift? Deadlift is basically standing up with weight, is probably the simplest way to put it. So obviously standing up is a pretty important skill to be able to have, because it kind of forms the foundation for everything else that you're going to do. So, if people say to me, what's the most important exercise if I want to lose weight, I'm going to say deadlift has got to be in there somewhere, because it uses so many muscles, and obviously the more muscles you use, the more energy you're going to burn, the more metabolically demanding your training routine is going to be. If I want to get big, what's the number one exercise I'm going to use? Deadlift. Again, same reason, because you're using so many muscles. You might have a slightly different approach to your rest periods and your reps for getting bigger. But again, deadlift has got to be in there. Also because of the hormonal effect it has, especially on your testosterone levels. So if you, basically after the age of about 30 or 35, naturally testosterone levels start to decline. But if you use, big compound movements such as deadlifts, it actually promotes an increased response in testosterone from your body to help keep your levels high. And again, if you want to get strong, obviously deadlift is probably the most important lift, especially for strength. Again, the reps and the rest periods are going to be slightly different between fat loss, getting big and getting strong. But if you think about your strength, think about what's being tested, obviously your back, your glutes, hamstrings, upper back, your core and your abs, your calves are going, your front of your legs are going. Big demand on your grip as well, which is a big part of your foundation for strength. So we can see pretty much whatever your goal is, whether it's to get leaner, to get bigger, to get stronger, you want to do a bit of all three, the deadlift really is your cornerstone. But there are some caveats, like I mentioned earlier on. The trouble with the deadlift is because there's so many muscles and joints involved, it takes a lot of skill, and you need to be kind of free of any serious orthopedic issues before you do them. Otherwise you're going to kind of injure yourself, because something's going to get stuck, or something's not going to move in the right way, or a muscle's going to do more work than it should do, and it's going to give you a problem. So really the deadlift, provided you're doing them correctly, really is a good expression of overall how well your muscles and your joints and your total body work together in unison. Because there's skill, there's strength involved, and there's also the timing of the movement, and the kind of smoothness of the movement is really important. So obviously not everyone can do a deadlift straight off the bat. 9 times out of 10 it's because of poor mobility, because we all sit too much. We have really stiff hips and a rounded upper back, so obviously trying to lift weight in that sort of position is not a good idea at all, especially if you like having a lower back that works. So you've got to do some work to kind of get into that, be able to get into that position safely, and be able to obviously lift the weight without damaging your back. What does a bad deadlift look like? Basically like this. So basically if you see people in the gym with horrendously rounded backs, what's happening there, rather than using the big strong muscles in their thighs and their glutes, and just using the back muscles just to kind of support their posture through the movement, because they've got tight hips or weak hips, they're kind of using the muscles in the back, which are very weak in comparison, try and lift away, but also they're putting their spine in a very weak position and then putting a lot of load for it. And that sort of rounded position that you see is gonna, that's definitely over time, might not happen necessarily straight away, but over time it's definitely going to do some serious disc damage and cause some problems. So if you are going to do deadlifts, then make sure you get some expert help from someone like me. But you might need to work your way towards that. There might be some line issues, like all my clients get to do glute bridges and side bridges, for example, so that I know that they've got a nice stable support of muscles around the hip joints, so the back doesn't have to make up for that, and the back can just have a fairly easy ride compared to the hips. So yeah, deadlift's most important exercise where we're trying to get lean, get big, or get strong, provided you're doing them correctly, and you've worked your way into getting that technique correct. And like I say, you don't want to jump into 1 rep maxes if you've got tight hips and tight upper back, or anything like that cat I just showed you.